Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your monthly forecast. I hope you're doing great. Little Apollo was right behind me sleeping, so I thought I'd bring him up for a quick hello and just a nice way to welcome us in here. All right, we have Apollo settled in the background. Let's get into your reading now. A quick reminder, this is for the month of December, by the way. You can use it for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, and it's here as a resource whenever you need it. So whether you watch ahead of time or as the month unfolds, it's great to have you here, and I hope that you enjoy. Let's move into the channeled messages which come from dreams and meditation, and today's first message was all about recording, writing things down, or journaling. For those of you that travel a lot, either for pleasure or for business, this is especially important because what I picked up on in my dream was the forgetfulness that happens sometimes when you're rushing from destination to destination, or especially if you're trying to focus on, like, if you're meeting with someone or doing a presentation, or there's some other sort of thing that's taking away your focus. What I saw was leaving behind something important. It could be a computer, it could be a power cord, it could be some documents, some clothing. So here's a tip that I used to do for myself back when I traveled about 10 or 15 years ago for work. I had a list of around 20 things that I knew that I needed to take with me each and every trip. And it would be from those big ticket items that you didn't want to forget, your luggage, your computer, to the small things, the toiletries and all the little things that you bring with you, plus anything specific to that trip. So I'd make the list. There's some digital software out there where you can make a digital list, or you can go old school and just have it with you and go through each item. It took the pressure off. So I could, sometimes I like to wait 2 days before to pack my suitcase, but I was able to just do it pretty quickly. And if I needed to go to the store, do that. And then once I got to the destination, I could also check to make sure everything made it with me. And when I came back, I knew I wasn't missing anything. I always had that list, and it allowed me to focus on the journey and the exchanges, meeting with people or the meetings or whatever. That was what I could focus on instead. Do that, take the pressure off, and you won't forget something. There is also something really valuable about recording an intuitive download. So for those of you that are working on intuitive development and have really clairvoyant dreams, make sure you have a journal or a digital device by your bed so that you can either write it down or type it into that device and then go back to sleep. For those of you that might be more creative, and whether it's like you're an inventor, a writer, or a songwriter or something like that, inspiration can strike anytime. So keep a notepad with you, or keep your digital device with you, and make sure that you're recording all of these thoughts so that weeks, months, days later, you have this as a resource, and it can help you through any sort of mental block that you might have down the road. This is also a way to get organized and to set priorities as well, because when you can see it on paper, it becomes more real. It's also a way to bring it out of the sort of ideation stage. So it's good to have something here, but when we speak it and write it into existence, we're just one step away from meeting it in everyday life. So there you go. That's why writing it down came through, and it's a pretty powerful way to get organized. Another thing to be mindful of this month is emotions. I saw that they could be running the gamut from excitement to anxious to maybe even feeling a little bit angry. So what we want to really do is stay level-headed here. If there are things that are going on where you're starting to feel like a buildup, clear the air. So we have the Seven of Cups here, and this is when things start to get a little bit cloudy in the mental space. And again, it can be because of an emotional buildup. So talk it out with somebody if you need to. It's also a chance to write it down, like we talked about in the previous slide. The Nine of Cups shows that there could be a lot to celebrate, but it's also just an exaggerated high or low with emotions. So the general advice this month is to take a deep breath, stay grounded, talk to people, again, organize yourself, and all of this should help you take a step back from the heat of the moment decision or the heat of the moment discussion that you might want to have. If it's at all possible to sleep on a big decision, or practice an important speech before you have it, or just give yourself a couple of moments to collect your thoughts, you're going to be so grateful that you gave yourself that prep time. And I think in the long run, it's going to benefit you. The last message from Spirit is, if you need to get something done, go straight to the source if possible. I know that's not always, feasible, because sometimes there are either one or two or many gatekeepers, but sometimes they're arbitrary, and sometimes there's too much protection. And I had a great boss when I was in a corporate environment that gave me a piece of advice that I never forgot. She said, if you aren't dealing with a person that can say yes or no, basically give you the decision. It's the wrong gatekeeper. You need to get to someone that can get you closer to the decision maker or has the ability to make a decision. The other thing that you can do is find a way to talk to that person outside of the normal sort of processes. So grab a coffee, for instance. An informal meeting may also be something that you can use to your benefit. But that's one piece of advice. The other is, if you're getting information and you're not sure of the source or the validity, you need to vet your sources. This is especially true if you have to make an important decision. And this is anything. It could be your own decision about health, for instance. This is like getting a second opinion or reading up on it and getting prepared. So, do your own research, talk to multiple sources, make sure you're talking directly to the people that you've heard the information from. And this is going to help you feel more confident in your decision-making abilities. And the last piece is simply, some of you are being called to be a leader, perhaps because you're tired of going through all of these different steps of hierarchy that exist in various parts of life, whether it's government or business or school or family. There may just be this feeling like, I want to do this on my own, and that's cool too. But going to the source, citing the source, and making sure that it is valid and well researched. That was the last piece of information that I got in dreams. So with that being said, let's take a look now at the cards and see what additional messages are coming through for the month of December. Nice synchronicity with the Three of Pentacles coming through. All right, let's begin with the Catalyst card here. We have the Earth Horse and the caption says stirring the cauldron. The Catalyst helps you stay on track basically and create necessary movement. The cauldron to me can represent emotions bubbling over, which we talked about. The earth element is about grounding and focusing and using the emotions in a constructive way. This month, there's a little bit of tension between what your heart and head want to do, and the challenge for you this month is to find a way to bring it all into focus. But you can do that because one of the cool things with Gemini is the ability to see from all perspectives and all angles. So I would say the important thing here is to hang out with people that have that grounded energy, to engage in activities that also provide that sense of stability, and make sure that whatever you're doing has sort of a firm foundation to it as well. The horse element is great because when I think of just tarot, taking it out of this card and focusing on what I would see in the major and minor arcana, all the horses would be the knights, right? And then also like the chariot card, big movement cards, big control cards, a lot of energy around the ability to bring something to the next level. And lo and behold, if we take a look at your Celtic Cross here, what do we have touching the three centermost cards? The expansion card, the world. There's only one potential block, and it's easy to deal with this month because it's reversed. Be honest with yourself, be honest with others. So honesty is the first thing with the Seven of Swords reversed. Stay accountable. If you say you're going to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't. And most importantly, trust your instincts. If something feels like it's too good to be true, or if you look at someone and you think, I can't trust them to do that, follow the instincts. They're not going to lead you astray. We have two foxes here. You can't outfox the fox. And so someone may be trying to pull the wool over your eyes, but you're going to see through that, okay? So all of the things that I talked about will help you overcome that. Again, be honest, stay accountable, trust your instincts. That's it. We don't need to overcomplicate that center card. Sometimes the Seven of Swords can look scary, but depending on the placement, it's pretty easy. If you can do that, then we have expansion coming through here. So the expansion is an amazing sort of energy. The World card can be, for you, moving to a new place. It could be moving into a new relationship. For business, this can be distribution. It can be globalization. It could also be the universe delivering on something beyond your wildest dreams. And in this case, the Seven of Swords can be, again, this disbelief or distrust. So trust in the universe's ability to upgrade your dream and trust in your ability to slip into those shoes and walk that path that you've been creating for yourself. When it comes to contracts, the only thing that I want to outline with this is, again, you know what's a good deal and what's not. So don't agree to something where you're giving away too much, like too much money, too much property, too much rights, too much time. Make sure that you understand, believe, and can follow through in any and all commitments. If you do that, there's nowhere to go but up, okay? As we take a look at deep past, the karmic lesson and opportunity is not to let things build up. So this can be looked at in two different perspectives. When it comes to gratitude, you can give people positive reinforcement in the moment so that they know where they stand, so that you can build stronger connections, and that's a good thing. If you're feeling frustration, confusion, anger, rather than let that build up to a level that you can no longer sort of tolerate or control, and then we have that outburst that I talked about, it's better to diffuse it in the moment when something isn't right. And you can say, hold on a second. You can clarify to see if they were trying to do it intentionally or if there was confusion. If it was just confusion, you can have a conversation about it and then it's fixed. If there's something deeper going on, you can fix it sooner than later. It's so much easier to do in the moment than weeks, years, or decades later. Take care of it now. If we turn the card upright, I love how he's just tossing one of those two chalices over the top, and he's basically saying, I'm not going to be bothered with things that don't matter. Don't sweat the small stuff. So this is also a card of perspective. Some things simply aren't as big as sometimes we feel they are in the moment. So getting perspective can help you feel that sense of being unbothered. You also know that there are certain people or certain things that are out of your control. So it's just not worth the time and energy. Let's instead, focus on creativity, leadership, passion, and sensitivity, all of the things that the King of Cups embodies, rather than some of the other things. Again, don't get dragged into things that aren't worth the time, the energy, or your skill in this moment in time. Instead, let's get into the recording of epiphanies, ideas, inspiration. This is a really great card. Additionally, if we take it outside of all of the recording things that I was talking about earlier, this is a card of education. So for those of you that want to go back to school, want to learn something new, this is fantastic. It's a card associated with professional writing, publishing, and also curriculum. So if there's something that you want to put to press, also for those of you that might be trying to get published in an academic journal, all of these things are associated with it. There are two other things that this card represents. One is recognition, but the other one is teamwork, and we can see three pieces of a larger whole, which is going to make another pentacle. So if you're working on something and you think, I could benefit from some outside advice or assistance, yes. If you've been waiting for someone to take note of you, don't give up now. This is saying put the energy into completing it. Recognition is just a few steps away. The self-doubt that we have here at the center isn't really serving your higher good here. So let's now focus on what's going on in the crowning position. We have Five of Swords energy here, a unique illustration because what we can see is the stress that sometimes comes from an environment that just isn't ideal. So the 5 and 7 of Swords are like sibling cards. They show up a lot together as a pair. The 5 of Swords is someone who you can't win in an argument with or you can't reason with because they, in this particular card, we could see it from their perspective. They see everything as an attack, even when you're providing information, support, or constructive criticism. They also don't listen. They are simply focusing on their own dialogue or the next thing that they want to say to you. They could ostensibly be that tentacle that we're looking at here in the King of Cups. So you don't want them to pull you down or pull you off track or get the better of your emotions. You have too many other things that are going on with the Three of Pentacles in the world, and we really want to keep the energy there. As we look at near future and also hopes, fears, and opportunity, these are tied together. Actually, all three of these are tied together. So the Three of Swords and the Hanged Man constitute the same thing. What it is a roadblock or a temporary delay, but it's a necessary delay. Sometimes we have to hear, this isn't the right time, or you're not the right person, or just an outright no, so that we can see the world from a different perspective, maybe regroup on our direction, and get into that expansive opportunity. What we see here is a chance to look at things from a different angle and to see who sticks with you through the challenges. You have support, you have expansion, but you may have something that no longer serves your higher good. And this gives you a chance to avoid like 10 of Swords or Tower. It's basically one small no that helps you say, sort of like think to yourself, is this enough? It opens up your heart and it opens up your third eye. So let's look a little closer at this and see if we can get some additional insights here. So if you're looking at this particular illustration, you can see all of the different chords around the heart. One thing that you can evaluate in your life right now is, are people connected to me for their own sort of gain, or do they want me to change who I am? Or is there something where there's a lot of stipulations on who I need to be or what I need to be in order for me to be associated with them? If so, this is a time to go through and cut out those connections, because that's really conditional energy that's no longer serving you. This could represent a disappointment, something out of your control, someone saying no, but it isn't the end of the world. It just feels like it. What it's doing is opening you up to see something bigger or better or more beneficial. Let's see how you're showing up this month. The moon. The moon is really nicely illustrated here. We can actually see the path to the expansion here, to something bigger and better. But you have to walk beyond this. This is emotions. This is competition. This can also be moving beyond what we were trained to do, following our instinct, because that's really what these two symbols represent. The dog is domesticated and represents being trained and having to follow instructions, whereas the wolf or coyote is basically a representation of instinct. And you're going to walk the path in the middle. You're going to know which rules to follow, which rules to bend, and also where you're going to create your own path. That's your power this month. That's where you can maybe see a newer, better, or a different way beyond this. And this was necessary to help you get to the next big thing. What we see in the environment is hidden support. Those two cups behind you can be a best friend, a love interest, a mentor, someone who can see the answer, the solution, can see the potential even when things are cloudy to you. Remember, I had the Seven of Cups earlier. So Five of Cups is basically looking at it from a new perspective and looking beyond the obvious kind of thing that didn't go the right way. There's always a silver lining, and this card is inviting you to look at the silver lining. As we look at the cards here, the silver lining is actually the halo that we see right around the Hanged Man. And this is insight, protection, and cosmic redirection, which is really what rejection is all about. It's saying, not this way, and it kind of pushes our head in another direction to look at it. The next card in the major arcana is 13, which is death or transformation. And this means that you're just on the precipice of something that is completely new, but it requires basically shedding of a skin because there's something that you've outgrown. So you have to pause before you can see the opportunity for change and growth. As we take a look here at your outcome, we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. This is an invitation also. You've got two cards. This is a pause. This is slower movement. It's movement nonetheless. But it could be movement in a different direction. It could be revising your original plan for where you want to be or what you want to do or what you want to say, but it's still a card that moves. I always talk about Knights reverse to be a chance for you to basically reevaluate, slow down, possibly redirect, and all of those things can come through in this moment. This is also saying speak up. If there's something that you don't like, this is like taking a pen to it and highlighting it and offering constructive criticism, saying, this isn't correct, but how about this? Or this is insufficient. This is what we need. Always coming with something that is going to be helpful, something that is possibly even positive as well. But, bringing that constructive element is absolutely important. It's also saying that at any point in your life, you're allowed to change your mind or change your direction. You're not tied to something indefinitely. We just talked about this card, which is change or an end and or a beginning, because it can be death and rebirth. So right before that, we had the Hanged Man. Death comes in after that. So then in order to make the next decision, you have to think, am I done with this? Do I want to do this? Am I ready for this big expansion that is kind of, touching all the cards at the center and really inviting me to go bigger, better, brighter. Let's not lose sight of that. Before we get into the expanded forecast, here's what we've got here. It's the ability to stay grounded and not let your emotions, and we do have some emotions here, kind of cloud the view. What's going on here is expansion, recognition, partnership, good stuff. What's feeding this is sensitivity and creativity. The blocks this month could be someone who doesn't pull their part. They say they're going to do something they don't. It may not be worth it. It might be better to cut ties, but you have to look at it and think about it before you make that decision. It's also worth facing fears or anxieties or, again, conversations in real time, not letting them build up. And then ultimately, once you find your voice, you can get back into that energy of expansion. So we could connect the possibilities here in the center with the outcome, but it requires speaking up, taking action, and moving through some of the more difficult swords cards that we saw here and leaning into the insight and decisive cards that we have towards the end. Let's now expand this to look a little deeper at health, wealth, love, and destiny. In the energy of health, we have, of course, mind, body, and spirit. I'm just going to pull the card up here. This one was reversed, but it says gratitude. And I talked about the power of this. So what could be lacking right now is appreciation, gratitude, or just kind of feeling the energy of being blessed. So even when you are faced with disappointment, even when someone shows their true colors and it wasn't what you wanted it to be, these things can help us cut our ties with things that are actually more of what we saw here. They're kind of keeping us in place. So you get a chance to release something this month. It was an illusion, or it didn't show up the way that you thought it would, and now you see it for what it is. That is such a blessing. It doesn't feel like it in the process, but it is in sort of like, what do you call it, retrospect, when you're looking back. So give yourself a chance to just be grateful for the clarity and the intuition and the insight that you receive in real time. Gratitude on a general basis and just sort of like much more high level can be easier than you think. If you are just moving through a recovery, like let's say you hurt a part of your body, a broken bone, or just got through a cold or flu or whatever, you could just be grateful that you're past the worst of it, that you're starting to see improvement, that the body is this miraculous thing that can heal. If you are starting to feel better after the loss of someone in your life, you could give gratitude that that's getting easier and better. If you're going through something difficult and you have support, just be grateful for the support. Be grateful that you have feelings that help you get in touch with what you should and shouldn't do. There's so many, and you can go even more basic, the ability to breathe, the ability to see or hear or feel, whatever senses you may or may not have. Just give gratitude for what is in your life, and you can start to build up from there to the bigger things, okay? Let's go ahead now and look at what might be going on in your general body. Again, standard disclaimer applies here. I'm looking at energy, which can affect health. If you have any health issues, work with your doctor. The first card is Spirit saying, be honest with yourself. If you say you're going to do it, stay accountable to your own goals. If you think you're going to need some additional help, don't overcommit, basically. It might be time to move, a change of environment, a change of job, because we have this expansive energy here. So Spirit's saying, are you ready? Are you going to do it? Definitely, this is a month to focus on emotional and mental health with the King of Cups reversed and the Three of Swords. There could be things outside of your control going on. It's normal. It's good. It's actually advantageous to lean on someone to ask for support in these situations. Slow down. Maybe too much going on. Maybe your schedule's too busy. I saw sort of forgetful energy that I was picking up on in my own intuition where things were being left behind. So one thing that you can do is slow down a little bit to make sure that you're really getting the most out of each moment. And that's pretty much it. The only other thing with the moon card, this can rule reproductive systems and also just your general, how much water you're holding in your body. So make sure if anything's going on with that, you speak to your doctor. But otherwise, most of this is manageable and most of it is around emotions. Last thing with the Three of Swords, it's always a reminder to take care of your heart. Each and every one of us has a different history when it comes to that. But whether it's diet, food, exercise, etc., just make sure that you're doing what you can to take care of this part of your body. All right, let's go ahead now and move on to wealth, which is resources, life purpose, career. And I love this. So it says, my light attracts light. And also it's kind of a play on like, L-I-K-E, attracts like energy. So move your energetic frequency up. Beam out that star potential that I know that you have. And when you start to work on yourself in that capacity, then you attract the same energy. So some of the brightest cards in the major arcana would be the sun, the star, and the hermit. They all have light sources in them. So the hermit is about leaning into knowing yourself, spending some time to get to know you. And the sun card is about confidence, and the star is about authenticity and spirituality. And actually all of them could be connected to spirituality on some levels. So there you go. Those are some things that can help you lean into that light. We are looking at wealth. So let's see what else is coming through with respect to just how you're feeling about money and life purpose and career. We're going to start with those of you that are already employed. And then I'll look at different aspects. I know not everybody's working. If you have a job, it feels like there could be some weird stuff going on with the culture or the morale. Seven of Swords and Five of Swords, that's not necessarily the most enjoyable environment to be in. And this is a card saying, rise above, try something else. And it's okay to feel frustrated. Who wouldn't in that? Okay, I know that's not everybody, but for the folks going through that, take your time to try to find something that's truly an upgrade. That's why we have the Hanged Man, like make sure you're not getting into the same thing again. But it's so important to have integrity, and the competition or the lack of accountability, it's just not something that is sustainable. So if you're in that, there is encouragement to look beyond that. It does feel like even for those of you that are in a really good working situation, this could just be a check on goals and expectation and communication in general. All the communication or all of the swords cards that we got have to do with managing challenging situations. So this is basically saying rise above it. You may have people around you that don't know how to communicate effectively, don't have the best coping skills, or maybe again, the environment's just not ideal. So if you want to stay, you could lead by example. But if you want to move upward or outward and onward, this is definitely connected to that. Emotions are important. You have to be in touch with them, but when we're communicating, we want to make sure that we temper them. There is a great chance for teamwork and leadership this month, even with some of this. If you can navigate this, you have a chance to move up, and that's the last piece that I have there for those of you that are in a current job. Just avoid gossip and avoid people that, again, fall short of their promises. We want to make sure that you're not associating with that energy. Any gossip is going to get back to the source and is going to be traced back. So we want to just make sure that you're not a part of that. Okay, if you are a student or this is basically for those of you that are just starting out or restarting, and this is also for job seekers. So trying to get out there, trying to change things up. There's a lot of things to sort of sort through. So if you have an interview, they're not telling you everything, or don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. I think that that's a sign of a really good leader. And if you're afraid of scaring away a job because you ask a tough question, it's okay. You're avoiding heartache down the line. So ask the tough questions, look beyond what they're saying in black and white, and make sure that you also are very, very picky and discerning when it comes to contracts. Get someone to look at that if you're not certain about it. Don't sign without having a chance to read it and sleep on it if possible. I think it's good to take it slowly. And it may be a little bit of a slow month, but we see something percolating towards the end. It's worth the wait, okay? For those of you that are retired or not job seeking, what I see right now is a chance for personal healing, without a doubt. And also cutting the cords, like if there are activities that you're involved in, if there are relationships that you have in your life, and it's just not serving a higher purpose, it might be dragging you down a little bit. The main thing here is to heal yourself, to remove yourself from those situations, to take some time and focus on what you want and take some action in that area. It's very clear here in that perspective. I ultimately see this as a healing month in general for everybody. Okay? Now let's look at love and relationships. In love and relationships, we have a card that shows you've gone the distance here. We have the mountains here, and it says stand your ground. So the first thing that I look at just intuitively, it reminds me a lot of the 10 of Wands. And you could be going up the mountain or coming down the mountain. It's worth the energy and it's worth the work. Relationships are never sort of like 100% easy peasy. There's always a little bit of work. The question is, are you both willing to put in the work? And does it all balance out at the end of the day? It shouldn't be 100% work. It should be a little work and a little bit of fun, a balancing act, if you will. You may be asked to really sort of stand up for something that matters. If someone promised something and they fall short, that 7 of Swords and 5 of Swords energy, this is a month where you have to deal with that. We have to kind of have the face-to-face. And it's like, are we going to work this out or are you going to go in a different path? So I can definitely see that for some of you. Let's go ahead now and talk about relationships. One thing that I can say without a doubt for every level of relationship, honesty. It's so important. And if it's not there, then it's going to be very hard to build something on anything less than honesty and integrity. Let's shift the focus now and look at those that are in a relationship first. Then we'll go to those that are seeking love or those that are single and happy. If you're already in a loving relationship, having important discussions about things that matter. That's the key thing. We want to have the heart to heart. I like that we have a Knight of Swords here. He's going to get straight to the point and he's going to dig into whatever it is that might be causing fear, anxiety, or again, there might have been something that just needs to come to the surface. That can also be the Moon card. So if you do that this month, we see expansion. We see the ability to also look at it from a bigger point of view and hopefully move beyond it. Some of you, though, might be dealing with a secret that was kept and is coming out, because this is an exposure of the 7 of Swords, the world, looking in on the 7 of Swords. And this is the work that you do. This is putting the pieces together. And it's okay to feel upset about something if you didn't have a chance to know about it. In a healthy relationship, this could be a family secret outside of the two of you, or something that goes on that's just upsetting. Maybe even someone that incites an argument. So this is a time where you don't want to make it bigger than it is. You want to really lean on the support of each other, have a heart-to-heart, and try to clear the air like we talked about. No matter how I look at it, though, it's important to talk about your hopes, your fears, your feelings, and to do so in real time, to not let it build up. That was the main message of this. And to do so with a feeling of love, peace, and gratitude. You're coming at this from the perspective of leading with the light that we saw here. We can still use every card in the expanded forecast to help with this. And we don't have to make a mountain out of a molehill either. One last thing that's coming through is it's important to give people room to change and grow. So when we think of a child in particular, they are not going to be perfect. It's normal for kids to start off the journey focusing more on their own needs. They learn empathy through time, through experiences. They may make a mistake, but if they learn to grow from that, and if they start to become more a person of integrity, honesty, and empathy through time, that's all you can really ask for. And the same thing happens in a relationship. People are allowed to make a mistake, but are they accountable for it? Are they honest about it? Are they open to doing the work? And if they are, great. And if they aren't, then this is a chance for you to think, is it worth the energy that I'm putting into this? All right? And so each of you are going to have to search your own heart and compass to figure out what you want to do. And you can also look at the mirror there of your partner and think, are they putting in the energy? I think if you do that, then you can definitely make some progress this month. And that's everything I have to say for existing relationships. Let's turn the focus now on those looking for love. The first thing that Spirit is saying is just slow the pace down of everything that you're doing, because there's a chance for healing. It could be internal healing, like taking care of yourself, physical healing. It could be healing this relationship that's showing up from the past. There's also a chance to rise above situations in your life that might be dragging you down a little bit, to finish something that you intended to finish, and really seeing that to completion first. You may already have the person that you're looking for, and they're in the periphery. They have your back already. This person in the past could also be that, someone who's really sensitive and really supportive. I think the main thing is to slow down, heal, and get perspective. And then once you do that, you might, again, find that things happen a lot quicker than expected. This is not a month where I would put too much focus into finding the person. It's more about healing and clearing different aspects of your life, so that when the person comes in, it's not a question of if, it's really when. When that person comes into your life, you've created this nice, clean, energetic slate so that you don't have to repeat old lessons. That's the main message for those that are looking. Clean things up. The sooner you clean it up, the better. Then we see either a fellow air sign. We also have a couple of water elements coming through. So it could be air or water coming in, probably from an outside perspective. So this could be someone from a different country or someone from outside of your friend circle. So I think the main thing to do is focus on yourself and focus on your life, and then that person comes in when the time is right. For those that are single and happy, again, healing is a big component, but so is travel. So you may be deciding to take a break, take a sabbatical from things, and explore the world, and explore some things in your life that really are inviting or intriguing, and put your energy there. And that's beautiful. And that's everything that I'm seeing here for love. Let's take a look at destiny here. And we have a really great message here. Fulfillment of wishes. What you seek is on the horizon. And the main thing that you have to do is be willing and able to believe that it's possible. And then when it comes through, say thank you. We, after all, did get in the health card just a card of gratitude. So trusting that it happens. And then when it does happen, just a heartfelt thank you and gratitude, and leaning into that. This is also a question from the universe. Are you in a state of fulfillment? Are you happy with your life as it stands, with your relationship, with your job, with where you're living? If not, this is the month to put the changes into your life that are necessary, and you'll start to see things spinning in the right direction once you do that. All right, folks, let's go ahead now and take a deeper dive into sun, rising, and moon sign messages and see what Spirit has to say. Sun, rising, and moon. All right, another synchronicity with the Nine of Cups. Let's begin first with the sun sign messages. You received the Four of Cups reversed. If we look at it in the upright position, we see someone lifting up a chalice, and there's a beautiful rose beneath it. Plus, there's also this firmament that's being peeled back. It's a revelation card. Oftentimes, we find a hidden blessing, which is what he sees here, and he has to, you could kind of use an old phrase, leave no stone unturned. It's like that. You have to kind of look around sometimes to realize what the universe has offered you. If we reflect on the traditional illustration, we actually see an Ace of Cups floating in front of this person, but they're a little bit upset. They're a little bit inward in their energy and thinking and insight, and they're not looking at what's around them. So what's important this month is to sort out feelings and to gain perspective. And it may take a vacation, a holiday, a trip, something to pull you back a little bit to get that view of the world that we see here. This also is a card where you could compare your life to others. And again, looking at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, that doesn't always make you happy, because you may be thinking, why did they get that stuff and I didn't? So he could also be wishing for the ace. He's got all of these in front of him, all the three cups here, which would normally be a celebratory card, but he wants one more thing. And is that one more thing really going to constitute happiness, or are the three things in front of him more than enough? So this is basically, we can break it down to this. Don't compare yourself to others. Focus on what truly makes you happy and fulfilled. Focus on gratitude for what you do have. for who you have in your life as well, and open your heart and mind to looking at what else might be already around you that you might be missing. And if you do that, you may find that there are blessings and abundance that just haven't been tapped into because of distraction or because of emotional filters. Let's go ahead and move on to rising sign messages. Quite auspicious here. We have the 6 of Wands, which is success. Success is in your hands. The decision to make the next move is also there. And there's a reminder here that you can't make everybody happy. If we zoom in on this card, we see all of these birds here with the wings that have eyes on them. So there could be people that are watching your moves or watching what you say or do. And the more visibility you have, by the way, which is a normal piece of the 6 of Wands, the more visibility, the more accountability, and the more expectations. In other words, people are going to criticize you, even when you're doing the right thing. So do what's right because it's right, not because all these eyes are on you. Do something not because you are expecting for popularity or approval, but because it's what's necessary for fulfilling your goals, your wishes, or taking something to the next level. The 6 of Wands is basically something that can be very subjective. Success is subjective. So do the right thing, lead by example, and in doing so, you've got what it takes here to see some really positive developments happen in your next 6 to 8 weeks. This is a great card. It shows that whatever the challenge is, you have the tools to turn it around. And that's the message here for rising and ascendant. As we take a look at the moon sign message, it's a very unusual read on this, but I'll explain why. 9 of Cups is normally a wish fulfillment card. The reverse of this can show that something isn't happening in the way, shape, or form that you thought that it would, or the time for that matter. However, in destiny, which is your trajectory, we show the other side of this, that there's another side to the coin, which is fulfillment of wishes. So, in short, don't give up on your wish. It's going to happen a little bit differently than you thought, but it can still happen. What's required to get to that fulfillment? A different perspective. The person that you thought might be coming in could already be here, or might be coming from a different perspective, a different angle. There may have been someone that showed their true colors and they were like the false version of what you thought. They're exiting so someone else can enter in. So if there was a disappointment, a rejection, an argument, or a setback, it's there so that you don't waste your time anymore with that energy. That you can instead become, that you can rise up, the World card, that you can be the light that attracts the light. And then we see the light coming in here at the end. We see the wish fulfillment here. So you had to go through whatever this is. It's going to be different for all of you to get to this, okay? So for those of you that are saying, Nicholas, how can I accomplish this? You have to look at it, do your research, do your homework, talk to other people. Remember, this could be an editor, an advisor, someone else that can help you piece it together. But I'm telling you this, there is a way to get to that outcome. It just isn't the way that you thought it would be. There is a new perspective coming in, all right? This is also a card of moderation, so don't go to extremes. If you're feeling really sensitive or a lot of emotions, find a way to channel it, talk to someone if you need to, take care of yourself. It's okay, but there is a silver lining. And because we have a destiny card in my spread that says wish fulfillment, then I'm seeing the potential of that still being something that you can realize, even with the reversal, okay? That is the expansion of that. Now we're going to move on to your final question and final card. This is a chance for you to ask one more question to Spirit, something that I haven't yet had a chance to look at. And let's see what the universe has to say. So just hold that question and let me pull a card and we'll see what we've got here. So I was talking about all the different horse cards. We don't see it in this illustration, but there are horses in the chariot in different decks and different interpretations. So we can connect this to the earth horse again, being grounded in your vision, channeling your emotions in a way that are focused, like I talked about earlier. The chariot is a yes, comma, but be willing to show up consistently and steer the ship and lead the path, because this is a leadership card. It isn't necessarily like a CEO kind of card, but it is a card saying, I'm willing to take charge, to take the lead, and to say that this is what I want to do. So if you're willing to take that kind of leadership role, then things can happen. The Chariot is also a directional card and a decisive card. You need to know definitively, this is the direction and this is what I want and this will make me happy. So this is a chance for you to do a little soul searching on those aspects of your life. And for some of you, it could be a reclamation card saying, I'm ready to take my power back. We see here a representation of a phoenix as well. So for any perceived failure, this is nicely connected to what I just pulled for the moon sign. There's a chance to rise above and to still achieve the goal, the dream, or have that wish be fulfilled. It's a really great card to come through. Balance, control, movement, all a part of that, and should be an exciting month. Yes, there are some challenges. I don't sugarcoat. The challenges here are in communication and people around you kind of navigating some of that, but you have a chance to finish what you've started, expand, and really find your voice. And at the end of the day, I think these are things to embrace. That brings this reading to a close. If you're brand new, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. If you're a longtime viewer, hit the thumbs up. And know that by doing this, not only do you let me know that you enjoyed this, but it also helps other people find the video. So thank you in advance. You can also give me a follow on social media. It's always just my full name, pushed together, no spaces, no extra characters. If there's anybody out there that pretends to be me and offers you a reading or tries to interact with you through direct messages, block, report, and let me know about it. That's not me. If you want to show love and support, you can do it right here on YouTube through super stickers and super chat. You can hit the thanks whenever I upload something, or you can also become a member. This directly goes back to the channel and it allows me to have the resources to produce new videos. Thank you in advance if you did that. Also, if you would like to just get more information about who I am and make sure that you're following the right handles, you can go to my website and here's the link. Finally, my schedule is every Monday, Thursday, and Friday, unless I otherwise note. Like for this one, it was produced on a Tuesday, but usually it's Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And then every Sunday I do a live stream, and I'd love for you to join me if you've never seen one of those. It's around 9 to 9:15 a.m. Pacific time every Sunday. And I also do one card daily readings. Thank you again for spending some time with me. I know you have a lot of choices here on YouTube. It means a lot that you decided to spend this last 45 minutes or so with me. Until I see you again, wishing you all the best.